Hello, I hope you're doing well. So in this video, I wanted to talk about three types of training run that I think are essential for bringing down your 5K race time. I believe by doing these three types of run regularly, it's helped bring my time down from over 20 minutes when I first started running 5Ks to now being under 16 minutes. So the first type of these training runs is the steady paced run. So the pace of the steady paced run is going to be a conversational pace. So nothing too strenuous, but at the same time, it's not a monologue pace. So you are feeling it, but it really is that conversational pace. The duration and distance of this type of run, I work in miles for this type of run. So I like to do about three times the actual 5K distance. So 3.1 miles, I like to get it up to around 9-10 miles for this type of run. Again, building up sensibly during the training plan, but getting up to around three times the 5K distance, I think works really well. I always think the distance for the 5K shouldn't really be the issue on race day. The time's the issue, but the distance should be really comfortable. So about three times the 5K distance. And the frequency of this type of run, I do it about three times a week. I think that the more often you can do this type of run, the better. Again, it's nothing too strenuous for the body, so it is one you can do multiple times a week. So I find, if you can do it 2-3 times a week, I think that's really beneficial. So the second type of training run is the tempo run. The pace for this particular type of effort is going to be slightly different for everybody. The running coach Jack Daniels described it as being comfortably hard. So it's a sort of an effort that you could, if you were pressed to, hold for about an hour, but it is that sort of comfortably hard effort. So the way I kind of measure it is I use my half marathon pace for this type of run. If it's going to be a longer effort, then I'll use my marathon pace, but I'll use the half marathon. If you don't have half marathon or marathon pace, then just, it's that comfortably hard effort, really. Duration and distance of this, I work in minutes for this one, so a minimum of 15 minutes and then up to around 30 minutes when training for the 5K, 15 minutes to half an hour. Again, if it's going to be the 15 to 20 minutes duration, then I'll use my half marathon time to work out the pace. And if it's going to be anything over 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I'll use my marathon pace to judge the actual pace of the effort. But yeah, minimum of 15 minutes I think works best, up to around 30 for training for the 5K. And the frequency of this type of run, I try to do, I do it twice a week. I think if you can get to doing this, obviously start off once a week, but if you have time and if you can get to, twice a week, I think you do really feel the benefits. So the final type of training run on this list is interval runs. So I like to do two types of intervals. The first type is a distance-based interval, so 400, 800, 1000 meter repeats. And the second type is hill repeats. For the distance-based intervals, I tend to kind of alternate each week. So one week I'll do 400 meters, then I'll do 800s, then 1000 meters, then back to 400s. So I find that to be quite, really useful. It keeps things interesting as well. And the number of kind of reps for each one of those depends on the distance. So the shorter the distance, the more the number of reps. So say if I'm doing 400 meters, I'll try and do, 14 to 15 reps. Then if I'm doing 1000 meters, that might be 6 reps, So the shorter the distance, the longer the reps. For the hill intervals, I think it depends what sort of hill you've got at your disposal, really. The one that's closest to me isn't particularly long. It's got a nice gradient to it. It's quite steep, but because it's not particularly long, I'll do a high number of reps. So that'll be, 14, 15 reps for that one. So the frequency of the interval runs, I try to do, again, one session of hills and one session of distance. So it's kind of two interval workouts a week. So yeah, these are the 3 types of training run that I think are really crucial to bringing down, a 5K time. One thing I would say is that, I've mentioned this before, but I do adhere to the no 2 hard days in a row. So, it's mixing in the steady, mixing all these in together. So, alternating your steady runs, which are, not too strenuous, between, your tempo runs and your interval runs, and, finding a plan that works for you. So yeah, mix in, no 2 hard days in a row. And if you've got any comments or thoughts or questions or anything, please, put them in the comment section. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. All the best.